Hey everybody, Jeremy here with another review from the Marvel Legends X-Men Age of Apocalypse Colossus Build-A-Figure wave. So today, I'm going to be checking out Rogue. So if you want to see reviews from the other figures that I reviewed in this wave, including Cyclops and Shadowcat and Legion and Iceman, check the link in the description. That's where those are going to be. All right, so Rogue. Curious about this one. Looking at it, I'm not too sure I'm thrilled about the outfit, but let's open it up, take a closer look. All right, so my feelings on this Rogue is sort of similar to my feelings on Cyclops, although I do think that she is a better figure than that Cyclops. Check out that review looking at that card or checking the link in the description if you want to see the Cyclops review. But the one thing about this figure, I don't think that is very aesthetically pleasing, just based on this costume. I'm not a fan of this particular costume. And again, not the fault of the figure, it's the source material that it's working with. I really don't care for the two-tone green look. It kind of clashes to me. It's just not my thing. And then also she's got like these really big, chunky, almost like winter boots going on. Again, not really my thing when I think of Rogue. I know I'm kind of a old guy, so I'm thinking about, old school X-Men, Fox Kids X-Men, and like that's the X-Men that I want. But I'm open to other things, but it's still, I'm not really feeling this costume. We also get like the sort of burly sleeves or whatever on the arms. So that's baggy, but the rest of the outfit is just sort of skin tight on the legs and in the abdomen, but then you got these big wrinkly puffs on the arm. It's a lot of clashing going on here. So I'm just not a fan of the way that it looks. So not my favorite Rogue, not my favorite Rogue. But I do think that when you look at the face, I like the face. I think that's a good head sculpt. Rogue is always easily identifiable by the white in her hair, and I think that the face looks really good. And as you can see, as far as the articulation goes, she's pretty nimble to be able to get her like this. And just while we're here, if we look at the head articulation, it's pretty decent as well. The back of her hair is not long, so it doesn't get in the way of her moving her head up. It sort of gets in the way of you moving her hair down because you got these pieces right here that are, connecting with the body. But, it's not bad. If you look at it from the back, it gets a little bit weird. It looks like her neck is too small for her head, or her head is too big for her neck. All right, so the other thing about this figure that I don't like, but this is what they do when they have to repurpose different molds, and this is the same thing that Cyclops had, is that hole in the back of her, hole in her back, really. Now, I'm not well enough versed in Marvel Legends to know like where this originated, where this came from or whatever, but it serves no purpose with her because there's no accessory that comes with her that you'll be able to plug into her back. So that's just always something that kind of bugged me. Little pieces like that are part of the figure that are useless to that particular figure. I understand why they do it, but that doesn't mean that I have to like it, and I don't like it. Speaking of accessories that she comes with, she gets two fisted hands as interchangeable hands. Here's one of them. The other one looks just like it because it's a fist. And of course, she's got her open palm hands. All right, cool enough. Let's look at some of the other articulation in more detail. Now, we do have the single jointed elbow. I always wish that I want everything to be double jointed elbows. I want everything all the time to be double jointed elbows. I mean, why not? It opens up a bigger range of possibilities for you. So we can't quite get the hand to go across the chest to touch the chest, but we would have been able to if we had that double jointed elbow. So unfortunately, we don't have that there. But of course, I do love that you can rotate the arm back and forth, just like that. Rotations at your wrists, and you can hinge them up and down. Her fingers are really thin and slim, so they can be crooked. It's just the way that this type of plastic works. But yeah, that's how that is. And then you can also, of course, rotate down here, kind of like at the, right below the elbow. You can rotate it. And it doesn't quite look right if you get in the wrong position because that's not how anatomy works, but you have the option to do that. Rotating her right there at the upper, it's not quite the waist, kind of right below the bust line, You can rotate, that's good. Crunching back, man, look at that. That's like Matrix style, you know. It's a pretty far back crunch. Forward crunch, nah, not really, but back crunch, you can really get that going. Oh, look, and she's still standing up. And we can attribute that to these huge feet. Look at those boots. They're big, they're wide. It's perfect for getting a figure to stand up without doing too much fiddling around with it. Although, like I said earlier, aesthetically, I'm not a huge fan of like these type of really big boots on this particular character, but it definitely does help with the standing. Now, as far as our legs go, get those double joints in there, and then of course we can move the legs out a pretty decent amount of space there. We got some rotation there at the upper thigh, and of course your boot, it can swivel, and can it tilt? Yes, it can. So we got that stuff. It always seems like the bottom half of these figures, they always seem to do pretty good to me in my experience so far with these Marvel Legends. It's just the upper body that tends to vary between figures, you know. So I do like the double jointed knees. I do like the pivot, of course, that helps them stand, and I do love rotating the foot up and down. It can be useful in certain situations, certainly not all situations. To me, it's really just another aid to help with stability of the figure. But if stability wasn't an issue at all, then would you really need to have toe articulation that does this? You know, probably not. It's still nice to have. But yeah, that is pretty much my thoughts on this Rogue here. This Age of Apocalypse line, it's kind of just hit and miss for me, you know. Not a huge fan of the Cyclops figure. I thought that Legion was good. I thought that Shadowcat was a good figure. And then we get to Rogue, and now I'm kind of, you know, better than Cyclops, but not as good, in my opinion, as the other figures, just based overall, you know, mostly the way that it looks. But the articulation is good, you know, it's just my personal taste. But that is her, and we have got a few more reviews to do before we can get to the Colossus Build-A-Figure, so stay tuned if you're interested in that. Thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, I'm Jeremy. Talk to you later.